Here is a summary of what you have learned so far. You've learned what is Node, its basic installation and setup. You did learn that there are core Node.js modules and also worked on a few of them. You also learned about the Node package manager and how you can import reusable packages to your code and work with them. In this lecture, we will put all of that learning to test when you create your first Node.js project. For your project, you're going to create a web server using the HTTP module. If this server is accessed using a web browser, it needs to return a static HTML page that consists of some form data. If the form gets submitted, then you write some data back to the browser. While you do this, you also need to maintain a log of the server that logs when the server was started, what methods were called, like whether a get was called or a post was called, and also when it was called. A static HTML page is part of the resources for this lecture. That is just to aid you in your project. You can use it if you like. Pause the video and give it a go. Once done, click play. Alright, hope you were able to do that. If not, good try. Here's how I would do it. I'm going to first create a new folder called first project. Then I'm going to run npm init on it. Accept all the default values. Now finally, I'm going to copy the static HTML page into the web folder under the project. Okay, I'm going to first create a logger.js module that writes to the log. And now since this writes to a file, it requires the fs module. I'm going to import it. Write const fs is equal to require fs. I also plan to use the lodash npm module for making use of the date function now. Also, you could make use of the date.now method without using the lodash npm module. So on the terminal, run npm install lodash --save. Once complete, in the logger.js, write const underscore is equal to require lodash. Next, write a function log that takes in the data to be returned to the log. So I'm going to write var log is equal to function log of data, and I'm going to call the append file method of the fs module. So fs.append file. The file name is going to be log.txt, and the data to be written is data, and I'm going to append the current time to it with the underscore dot now method. And in case of an error, I'm going to just throw it out. Finally, export the log variable by using module.exports is equal to log. Next, I'm going to create this server.js module. This module is going to create the server, and it's also going to read the static HTML file. So we need the fs and the http modules. Right? Const http is equal to require http, and const fs is equal to require fs. We also plan to use the logger module to write to the log. So far you have used require on only Node.js or on npm modules. You can also import your own modules using the require. Write const log is equal to require dot / logger. Now let's first create a server using the http.createServer method as we did in the HTTP lecture. Right, http.createServer, and as we saw, the createServer method takes in a listener object that contains the request and the response objects again. Now if the request method is equal to get, we're going to log get method called. And also for the moment, we're just going to respond back with a simple string like res.write you called get. Else if the request.method is post, then log post method called and also respond back with you called post and then end it. Finally, listen on the port number 3000. That's it. At the moment, we'll not render any HTML form back to the browser. We'll just test the basic functionality just to make sure that the log and the request response is functioning as expected. This is just to ensure everything is properly linked up. Now, save your files and start your application from the terminal. Type node server.js. As soon as you start the server, you should see a log entry that says listening on port 3000. Next, open your browser and go to http://localhost 3000. You should see a message back and also a log entry. Next, I'm going to write the function that actually renders the HTML file. For that, I'm going to create a separate function called displayForm. So write function displayForm and it just takes in the response object. And this is going to make use of the read file method of the fs module. So fs.read file. And if you remember from the global modules lecture, we can make use of the __dir name to refer to the current directory. So write __dir name and append the /web/index.html to it. And finally, the callback with error and the data. If there is an error, then I'm going to just throw the error. If things go well, then write response.writehead 200 content type is equal to text/html. Also write response.write data and end it. This function can be called from inside the if block for the get method. So comment the line that says response.write you called get and replace that with displayForm and pass the response object. Up next, save your files and restart the server. Now if you go back to your browser and refresh the page, you will see a simple form with a submit button. Clicking on it is going to call the HTTP post method and you see a response that says you called post. Go back to the log and verify if everything is getting logged. You should see everything right from when the server was started and when each method was called and when the server responded. That's it. That completes your first project. Thank you.